Good afternoon, good people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is where you're joining me from. But it's tea time in the afternoon for me. You see, tea time it is, and I'm having a wonderful time. This tea time. I'll tell you what. There is a story, by the way, there is a story that has to do with this coffee mug or teacup. I think for benefit of people that don't know about this story, I have told the story before on this platform on Mindset Monday, one of the days. So the story about this teacup is this is the kind of a teacup that we used to use back in the day in the rural areas where I grew up. And my grandmother owned that. I grew up in Port Elizabeth, but I spent some time in Fort Beaufort in the rural areas, which is where I spent about 4 years of my time. And I think that that is the period that shaped a big part of my life. I have a huge appreciation for that period right now. So this cup, every time when I look at it, it reminds me of those days of poverty when we would have we would borrow sugar from the neighbors, and it would be measured in something like a cup of this nature. So every time when I see this cup, I get brought back those memories. So I found this cup in my kitchen one day not too long ago, about a few months ago, and I asked my son, what the heck is this cup doing in my kitchen, my very own kitchen has this cup in it? And he told me that every time when he sees this cup, he went somewhere to buy something, and then he came across this cup, not with the intention of buying it. And when he saw it, it reminded him of the love of my grandmother. So this will be his great grandmother, and that there would be a time when we would make my grandmother tea in a cup like this, and she would then blow onto the cup so that the tea gets cooler, and after that she would pour some of the tea onto a saucer and would serve that tea to my son. So this is now the great grandchild. So there was love that gets triggered, the memory of love that gets triggered to him when it comes to this cup. And so he bought a few of these cups so that when he drinks his tea or his coffee, he remembers the feeling of love that he had as a result of being served a tea from a cup like this from his great grandparents. And from then, I started looking at this cup and seeing it differently. And I find myself, especially in the afternoons, going for this cup when I want to love myself and when I just want to bask into the experiences of the past, but looking at them differently now through a clean lens with a new perspective. So today's topic, welcome everyone that's joining me here. Please remember, this is interactive. Please do comment so that I can see, allow StreamYard first to read your comments if you're on Facebook, so that I can see who is with me, and let's have a nice chat, a good conversation here. So I was taking selfies this morning, like every good girl should. And then I got reminded that it hardly ever happens that I take only one selfie and that would be it. I would take so many selfies, and when I take those selfies, I would choose only one, whether it's going to be kept on my phone so that it goes to Google Photos, or it's going to be posted on some form of a social media platform, or it's going to be sent to someone to say, hey, I'm alive, look at me, this is what I'm doing. Now, what got me confused is what happens to the other 99 if I've taken 100 selfies, for example? Why am I choosing only one? And it just dawned on me that there are actually things that we don't like about ourselves. There are certain angles that we don't like about ourselves. For example, you would go like, and you do all of those things because you want a certain picture of you to come out, but the other pictures are more like they are compromising you. They are showing the side of you that is not as beautiful as the other, or they are showing your big eyes, they are showing your wrinkles, they are showing your blemishes, they are showing your big lips, or whatever it is. To think of it, These are the parts of you that make you who you are. These are the parts of you that actually complete the person that you are, because you come as a package. And if you do not love those parts about yourself, you can't expect anybody else to love those parts. So I am in a journey of applying the principles of self-love. I get taught new lessons on self-love every morning for 15 minutes from 6 o'clock during the week, and from 9 o'clock over the weekend or public holidays by a friend of mine, a sister from another mother, Love Tintin, on this platform, Facebook. And I then take those principles and apply them in myself and look around me, because the messages are everywhere, the triggers are everywhere, the same way that today's trigger was from the selfies. So when there are certain things that you don't like about yourself, what do you do? Because they are who you are. And if you don't like them, guess what? Everybody that is around you is also not going to like them, because you are sending out an energy of disliking a part of you. And if you take 5 selfies and you only keep one and discard the other 4, that means you love 20% of yourself, boy or girl. Only 20%, 1 out of 5 parts of you, is what you love about yourself. So in the spirit of increasing self-love, because remember, you have to love yourself before you can be loved by other people, and in the spirit of increasing the value that you attach to yourself, what do you do? When there are certain things that you don't love about yourself, usually they are embedded in something that is in your subconscious mind. There are certain expectations about how we should appear. There are certain expectations that come as a norm from the people that are around us. Some of the expectations have become beliefs, because they are so entrenched in us as a result of the fact that they have been with us for as far back as you can remember. From the time that you were a child, you were expected that you are going to be tiny, you were expected that you are going to have a certain structure about you, and as you grow and you have wisdom showing around your body, now you happen not to accept this about you, on the basis that the expectation is that as a woman, for example, you're supposed to be tiny so as to attract men, or so as to whatever it is. You're supposed to look like the models that you see in the media, and therefore you can't accept and be happy about the way that you are. Now, if you cannot change anything about yourself, when was the last time you looked into the mirror and just looked at yourself and spoke to yourself and say, I love, accept, and forgive myself? Welcome, Tintin. She says, please don't talk about the 99 deleted selfies. We are going into the depths of who we are. We are now, we've removed the surface. The shallow land has already been addressed. We are going into the depth of who you are, because what shapes you lies in your beliefs and your relationship to the 99 deleted selfies. So when you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I love you, I accept you, and I forgive you for having ill-treated you as you are, you feel comfortable in your own skin. I am in no way saying don't change things about your skin, don't change things about yourself if you feel that you would like that to happen to you. However, let it not be something that is compulsory in such a way that when you have not applied makeup, then you feel lesser of a person or lesser of a woman than you are. Let what is important about you, what shapes you, come from the inside. And let us portray our insight to the external world, because when we work on such issues as a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth, when we turn those things around and we introduce self-belief, we introduce love for ourselves, we introduce an increased level of value and worth about who we are, we will realize that it doesn't matter how you show up, but when you show up, you actually make an impact, because you are giving of yourself. And there is the uniqueness about the energy that comes from within you, which nobody else is ever going to have. I have seen people that come not having the looks that are ideal for specific situations, but they still make it on the basis that they ooze positive energy, they ooze confidence within themselves. How do you get your own sense of confidence? What is the source of the essence of who you are? How do you bring that up? You may take 100 selfies and keep only one, but the 99 that you have deleted are not completely deleted in your head. They are sitting somewhere in your head because they signify how much you have about the things that you don't like about yourself. And don't come and tell me that it's about trying to save some storage capacity on your phone or on your camera. No. Yes, it may be about saving some storage capacity, but there is an embedded feeling that is sitting somewhere there and that needs to be addressed. So I'm giving you insight so that you can do something. I got insight from taking selfies, and I'm passing the insight on to you so that you yourself can do something about it, because it is an issue that can only be addressed by yourself and nobody else. And as you address that issue, you will realize how you are able to go out there and not be interested about what other people are going to say about you. Even when people come to mock you, you are not going to have issues with it, because when they mock you, they are mocking you about something that you are aware of, and you have healed yourself from it. You have allowed yourself to heal from it, because we are still going to evolve for the rest of our lives. For as long as we are still living in these bodies, we are going to evolve. You're not the same as you were when you were a baby, and you are not going to be the same tomorrow as the way that you are today. Accept yourself, love yourself, embrace yourself. Be the happiest person that you are in your own skin. Yes, yes, I love you. Oh, I accept you. I embrace you totally. Saying that to myself feels deeply loving. And that is the practice of love. You practice love on yourself, and you perfect love, the act of giving love on yourself before you give it to somebody else. You know, the example that I made about what my grandmother used to do with a cup of tea like this and pour it onto a saucer is because it would be overflowing. There would be enough in this cup for him to pour it onto a saucer and serve my child, which is the great grandchild to her. You cannot serve from an empty cup. I serve because I have something full that is overflowing, that is nurturing, that is fertilized inside of me. And therefore, when I serve you, I am not killing the seed. I'm giving harvest to you. I'm giving off the produce. I'm not killing the seed, because if I kill the seed, then there is going to be nothing to be served on. And there will be the end of everything, because I won't be able to reproduce so that I can serve more people with what I have. Just remember that when we talk about the concept of love, selfies are going to tell you stories about the manner in which you relate to yourself. So here's a reminder. From Monday next week, the very next Monday that is coming, we're going to have our Mindset Monday at 6 p.m. on these platforms, the same platforms that we're on today. We are going to be spending the next 10 weeks, I'll call it teaching for lack of a better word, on this book that's entitled I Serve. This book from your very best award-winning author, Zolitha Cheche, myself. So this book has 10 chapters. So we'll take a chapter a week and we will talk about the concepts, just the information that is there briefly, but we are going to be talking specifically about application. Because it's one thing to read a book like you do a novel and not do anything about the information that comes from it to change your life. So we'll be taking one book, for example, Inside Out is the first chapter. That is what we're going to be talking about on Monday. And we will talk about what do you do to deal with your own issues from an inside out approach. How do you look at life differently from a mindfulness perspective, which is brought to you by looking at the world through a clean lens, which is from the inside out. So you have to have a copy of this book so that you can get a better connection to what we are going to be talking about. This I call a journal because it actually has spaces such as this one. This space here says record an event or moment that could have been speaking to you. whether or not you responded to the call. How many moments of that nature have you had when you felt that something was speaking to you and you just decided, I don't want to deal with it because I don't want it to open up certain wounds? Let me tell you, those wounds are still going to stay for as long as you don't go and address them. You have to remove the scab on top of the wound if the wound has not healed. You have to allow the wound to actually be exposed to the sun, to dry out completely from within itself towards the outside, because it is only then that you will be able to get to a space where you feel, I am authentically healed and I have something to offer. I have learned from the experience that I have gone through, and now that I'm looking at this experience, I feel called to do something about it, so that so many people that I come across are not going to go through the same example and the same painful experiences that I've gone through, but instead I'm going to hold their hands and I'm going to share experiences so that we can create a better place to live in. We can turn this space into a place where everybody live a life they love. So do get yourself a copy of this book. It goes for 240 rands. If you're in South Africa, you can actually send me a contact. 240 rands. During this period, your delivery will be complimentary from us. So we will get this book couriered to you as soon as possible, so that when we take a chapter, then you will have a better connection and a better insight into what we're talking about. This is being done for you. I'm doing this for you because I have a dream that one day everyone will come to live a life they love. And I feel that I have a responsibility to serve you. So I am going to be doing that through this book. And when you get yourself that copy, make sure that you get an additional copy for a friend or a buddy or somebody that you're going to be working with in terms of this journey. It's a journey of 10 weeks. If you know you're the kind of a person that just sometimes leave things incomplete, I can't stand incompletions. Some of my friends know I want incompletions to get out of the way. If I'm not going to complete something, I then declare upon myself and make that declaration that I am not going to complete it. In that way, I will know that is a completion on its own. So if you know you're the kind of a person that falls by the wayside and you would like to have a buddy that's going to walk the journey with you, get 2 of these books. We'll give them to you at 200 rand each. And we are not going to charge you any of the delivery fee. Tzingzin says, I'm holding my copy. Yes, I'm so excited to hear that. No delivery fee to you in South Africa. If you wish to get one from Take a Lot, it's probably going to take longer for you to get it. Rather come back to me for now, whilst we still have some limited stocks available at hand at the moment. If you are out of the country, the book is available on Amazon, amazon.com. You can get yourself a hard copy, or you can get a Kindle version. You can also go onto smashwords.com, and just do a search on Zoli Swacheche, I serve. Then you will get yourself a copy on Smashwords. It's going to be a Kindle version, an ebook version as well. So please do yourself a favor. You don't want to miss this opportunity. The next 10 weeks are really going to be more like a workshop for you, a workshop that allows you to look into your own life. When you come onto the other side after the 10 weeks period, you will realize that you will never be the same again. You will never be the same again. Allow yourself that opportunity. Do yourself a favor. Let's turn this thing around. Let's turn the tide. The time for us to take care of our lives, the time for us to take charge of who we are has arrived. This is the time for us to awaken. And this is only the beginning. The best is yet to come. Have a fantastic afternoon. Everyone that's joining me, please remember, don't send me a hi, hello, how are you guys? So many people have been sending me hi, hello, how are you from yesterday? No, don't. Because now when you just say hi, you are using the time that's supposed to be allocated to something more beneficial. I love you to bits. I love you so much, all of you. But the highs are unwelcome. Let your high be followed. Let's just get straight to the point. Let your high be followed by, how do I make payment? And this is the delivery address that I would like to go with too. So I welcome those. Those are the kinds of messages that I'm looking forward to have here. And we are going to be walking this journey, exciting journey together. I can't wait. Have a very, very good afternoon as I take more selfies of myself.